Hi, my name is Sharanya Chaudhary and I am a student from National Law University, Lucknow. I am a technology and data privacy law enthusiast and I'm currently interning with SARO. I am also certified by the DSCI as a data privacy professional and I'm hoping to break into data privacy consultancy soon. So, today I decided to be generous and make a video about how to break into technology law internships because a lot of juniors had been asking me about it and I realized there's a lack of guidance in that. Most major fields in law, it's easier to get career counseling or guidance, but like this particular field, because it's new, it's very difficult to find like information that is credible on what works. So I will be discussing from my experience and my credentials. There are right now I'm in my 8th semester, and before my 8th semester started, I had done internships with Spice Route Legal, BTG Advaya, and Ikigai Law. And currently, like I said, I'm interning with SARO. So before we start, you need to understand that there are two different kinds of internships. There is your research internship, and then there is your law internships that also people like to call legal internships. For starting for both, I think should be similar in the sense of you start with reading. That's very generic advice, but you start with reading with the intention to write. I started writing blogs very early on in my law school. I think my first published piece was in first year itself, and almost all of my published pieces are there on my LinkedIn. I will put the description down below. When you start reading and you start writing, it builds credibility, and that's where you can start applying for research internships, where they actually require people who are good at reading, writing, proofreading, and all of that good stuff. Now, the reason why I would start with a research internship is because it gives you the foundation to do the things you need to do in a legal internship and hopefully get a conversion. I am still not working yet. I've not graduated, I don't have my license or anything, but this is what I've seen for my seniors. I do not have any tier 1 internships because I think applications for that are an entirely different ball game that I am not equipped to discuss. But this is like how to break into it. So once you've read and you've written a good piece, you start applying. There are two kinds of places that give you research intern positions. One would be NGOs, and the other would be law firms that require that work for like uploading their blogs, making white papers. And in how I went about your research internship positions is I would introduce myself formally and I would just attach my piece, and usually they would get back to me in the sense of, oh, we like your writing and would you be able to write for us XYZ. That's how that works. Now coming to your law firm internships, there are two ways to go about that as well. Like you can write a formal email like you usually do, which a lot of people use ChatGPT for now. I don't recommend doing that unless you're trying to improve the language. But what I did was, briefly in the middle, I made a clickbait email. Like clickbait email was, I wrote a piece on OnlyFans versus Feed Finder, and it was a good piece. It was a legal piece. Like there was nothing vulgar about it. It was very, very straightforward. And once I had it published, I started making emails with the subject OnlyFans versus Feed Finder, a risky internship application. And I sent it to a bunch of people. Now, coming to whom do you want to send this to? Find the firm you want to work for, find the people that handle the things that you care about in that firm, and write a personalized email. Personalized email template will be, for me, it was a clickbait email. So it started with, greetings. I promise this is not clickbait. To be able to see the published piece on OnlyFans versus Feed Finder, scroll to the bottom of the email. And then I would introduce myself, introduce like my experience and what I bring to the internship. And then I would say why I want to work with them. And usually it was very genuine. It was people who were very active on LinkedIn and actually published like little blogs and pieces that were really interesting to me. So that is how I think I broke into my Spice Route internship. After which I think BTG Advaya was a more formal process. And Ikigai had an entirely different way of application altogether. Like I had to go onto their website multiple times before I actually got the chance to apply, and make multiple applications before I got an acceptance. So that is how you go about these things. Now, one thing that if you get into a place like Spice Route, you have to bear in mind is you need to know the niche you want to work in. They will ask you for your preferences. For me, it was data law. I ended up working in data law and also fintech. So have a niche, but also have an open mind. And it's always helpful to make an Excel sheet of firm, person, and their contact details. Now, how to get the contact details? There's no ethical way to go about it. Usually those contact details won't be very difficult to gain unless the person is from a tier 1 law firm. And even in tier 1 law firms, sometimes they just have the email ID for show, and the actual email ID they use is a different one. Keeping all of those things in mind, this is how these are the basics of how you can get a technology law internship. I currently am not employed, like I said. I am hoping to get into consultancy, so I have diverged in my roots a little bit. But this is what I know from what I have right now, and I hope it helps.